Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar this afternoon. Just our audience is gathering now, so in the next few seconds, I'd say we'll have a large complement of people. So today, I'd like to welcome Michelle and Brian from Shopify, and today they're going to focus on hints and tips, shortcuts. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Brian first, and then I think Michelle is going to intercept afterwards. So thank you both.
Cool. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much, Emer, for having us back. We had a great time the last time, so it's really great to be back with you. So a couple of weeks back, if there are people here who didn't see it, what we talked about then was the setting up of a Shopify store. So that was adding your products, adding your collections, adding themes and templates, and running through an example order. So it was really just an introduction to the platform, who we are, and the type of support that we provide. But one major bit of feedback from that, and something that folks were particularly interested in, was around the visual elements of the store. So how we can create images, how we can edit images, how we can source images. It may be the case that you've got your product images in place, but you might not necessarily have all of the other imagery that you want to kind of build the tone of your store. So that's what we're going to focus on today, for the most part. We're going to be talking about tools that are within and outside the Shopify platform that you can use to get exactly the kind of visuals that you're looking for. Now, you might be an existing Shopify merchant who's looking to, get some tools to enhance your use of the platform, or you might be completely, entirely unfamiliar with Shopify. And I really do hope that this webinar is of benefit to both groups there. Even for those people who have absolutely no plan whatsoever to set up a Shopify store, some of the tools that we'll be talking about today do not require you to be signed up with us. Although, of course, we would love to have you, naturally. So we're going to be talking about Canva later on. We'll get to that a little bit later, and that'll be mostly concerned with image creation and image editing and so on. I know that's something that people are particularly interested in. In terms of Shopify's own tools that we'll be talking about Burst, which is a library of royalty-free images, and Hatchful, which is a logo generator, I should say. And both of those are completely free. They don't require you to sign up or provide any details or anything like that. We'll also be giving you a little bit of info about Kit. We know that as well as having to get to grips with editing image and creating graphics, you're also experiencing challenges when it comes to Facebook and Instagram advertising. So we do have a tool for that, and Michelle will be going into a little bit of detail about that later too. So the main driver of this webinar is to let you know that you can and do have control over the appearance of your store. A lot of the merchants that I speak to day to day they're wary of making changes with the design of their store. Mostly this is based around the C word, which in this case, by the way, is coding. I just want to make that clear. Some of the tools that we will be giving you an introduction to today, hopefully will help you, will kind of give you that little bit more confidence when it comes to putting your site together. So I think we're going to start. Michelle, you're going to talk about Hatchful.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. And thanks to Emer and Mary for having us back. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. This is hatchful.shopify.com. So if you don't have the budget, the graphic design skills, the time right now to go and make or have made a beautiful logo that is, represents your brand and your values and all of that, and you just want kind of a quick logo to get started, this is a Shopify tool, but you don't have to have a Shopify store to use it. So you can just visit that website, hatchful.shopify.com, and you can work away. So it's also free, which is probably a big bonus right now. So we'll click on Get Started and go through the few steps that it takes. So there are categories there already. Fashion, health and beauty, home and garden, food and drink, and so on. And there's one at the bottom if it's none of the above. So you don't have to worry about putting yourself in one of those boxes if it doesn't suit. So for this example, I'm going to use art and photos and click next. That's how easy it is. Then you're going to choose your style. Now, because this is for the Craft and Design Council, I'm acutely aware that there are people in here who are excellent at design and are probably thinking, you can't make it this simple. This is really kind of a quick fix if you don't have, like I said, the budget, the skills, all of that, to go and have something made from scratch. So they're kind of just templates in there, categorized into, okay, what kind of business is it? Then what's the kind of tone or style of your business? So let's go with creative for this one, but you can see there's lots of different kind of styles there. And again, none of the above. So we'll go with creative just for this one. It's going to ask you for your business name and if you've got a slogan. Now, not all of the logo templates will allow the slogan in. Some of them will, some of them won't. So it depends on whether it's important to you to have on your logo what your little tagline is. Maybe you haven't even got one, so that's totally optional. So I've put in Brian's Arts and Crafts because that's what Brian is going to talk about as our fake store for today. And a slogan, brighten your world. So you don't have to come up with a slogan on the spot there. You can figure that out later. So once you've got your name and optional slogan in, the next thing it's going to ask you is, where is this logo going to be used? Because it's going to download files and email them to you when you're finished, and it wants to know what size of files you want. So if you were to go to a printer to have your logo put on hoodies or big pop-up banners for events when they were a thing, it could be a totally different size artwork that they want in terms of the width and the height and how many pixels and all that kind of stuff than what your Facebook profile picture needs to be. An Instagram post should be square. An Instagram story should be vertical. There's lots of different dimensions and depth of resolution. So it's asking you here, where do you want to use it? So you don't have to come in here with all those dimensions in your head. You just say, well, I want to use it on my website. I also want to use it on my social media. I might get stuff printed. You can uncheck that if it's not relevant. Are you going to get some business cards done? Large surfaces, so very large print needs a vector format, different again. Physical stores, or none of the above. So I've selected those top 4. That's what most of you would probably go for. And again, this is all free, so it doesn't matter how many of those you tick. It's not going to add on any cost or anything. So that's where it's pulled the business name, the tagline. You see the way only some of them have the tagline on them, brighten your world, or a slogan. And you can have a scroll through and see if any of those kind of catch your eye, okay? So let's go with this one. Now, let's move these out of the way. Now that I've chosen that one, I can edit it a little bit further. So if you say you had a typo in the name or you just were playing around with this, you could edit that name. The font in which that text is coming up, there's a few in there. You mightn't even notice those changes, very slight changes in the fonts. So let's go with that second one. You can change up that color. So we could change it to that one. If you like the look of one of the templates and how it's appearing, but you think, yeah, but I don't want that icon. I wish I had that circle, that text, but with something else. You can go into the icons there and there are loads of them. And again, they're categorized. So if something made sense, say you've got eco-friendly products or something and you want a nice leaf or something that represents what it is that you stand for, you could change it there. And then the layout. So it's only given us 2 options there, and that obviously is not visually very good because you can't read it. So let's stick with that one and click next. Now, you would put a lot more thought and effort into what you're doing on each of those stages, but just to show you quickly how easy it is to use Hatchful and how you come out at the end with a logo. So it's showing you there what it would look like on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, various different places. So it's giving you kind of a preview of it. If you're happy enough with that, you just click download logo. It asks you to hold on for a second and it emails you. And that's it. It sends you a zip file with all of those logos that you said, okay, give me social media ones, website ones, all the various different ones. It sends you the right files that you can then save to your computer and use on those online platforms, send off to a printer, whatever it is that you wanted to do with that logo. So that is Hatchful and how easy and free it is. And you do not have to be a Shopify merchant to use that Shopify tool. And Brian is going to speak to you about Burst, yeah?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Okay.
So one thing in the conversations I have with merchants every day, one thing that comes up an awful lot is where people can actually source their own images, that they're looking for high quality images that they can display on their store. For product images, people generally have their own product images. Either they've taken them themselves with a phone, or they've got a professional photographer in to do that job, or they're getting photos supplied from their supplier. So that's generally not an issue. But what you might not necessarily have is the photography that you want to use to kind of set the mood of the store and help develop the brand identity of the store. You want images that look ultra professional and that set a consistent professional tone. So when you start out, you might not necessarily have these images to hand. So I'm just going to share this with you. And perfect stuff. Now I might look like I'm staring up into the sky here, but my monitor is slightly above, so forgive that. This is burst.shopify.com. Two places this will be available to you, and I'll show you each. This is the main web page for it. Up at the top here, when we land on it, you will see collections. Any number of topics, any number of types of photo covered here. We have animals, backgrounds, business, nature and landscapes, whatever it is. Let's go into nature and landscapes for an example. So if we click on that, it's going to bring up part of what is a very, very extensive library of, and this is the important part, royalty-free images. So instead of, which I see an awful lot of, by the way, instead of people going onto Google and going onto Google Images and typing whatever the word is and then just grabbing images here and there, very often those images are of a low quality. Very often those images are not optimized for the internet. Very often those images have watermarks on them. And these are all the things you absolutely want to avoid. So Burst is a stock image library of royalty-free images. You don't need to pay for the images. You can just download them and use them however you want, commerce-free. So just to show you an example here, I'm on nature images. They all look very nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and find the one that looks most like Northeast Galway, which I think might be absolutely impossible. But let's go with this one, unless Williamstown has changed much in the last few weeks. I don't think that's it. But if we can click on the photo that we want to use, and we will be offered two options. We'll have a high resolution picture. We'll have a low resolution picture. So the high resolution would be for web and print. Low resolution, as you can see, for small web graphics. You do not need to be signed up, exactly the same as Hatchful. You do not need to be signed up to Shopify to actually avail of this. So all you need to do is click on download free photo. It downloads right to your computer and you can work away with it then. You do, if you want, you have the ability to give credit to the person who's actually taken the photo. It'll give you that option there as well. You can copy the code. But that's exactly it. You can build up your own library, anything that you think might be appropriate for the type of store that you have. You can start building your slideshow images and your banner images based around that. So this is one location. This is burst.shopify.com. There's a few nice little additions here on the site. You can see here under tips in the top right-hand corner, there is in fact a whole section there about how to get started with Facebook ads. A lot of detail there that takes you through that. So, useful little things, a useful little resource to have. The other place, by the way, where you can use Burst is right in the Shopify admin itself. So a couple of weeks ago when we were kind of bringing you through the setup, this was the store that we were using. And I'm going to bring you to the theme, the template, where we can actually set out the design of the page. So here we go. I literally have never seen that before. Let's try that one more time. Nice to add a little bit of drama into my presentation.
You said no coding.
That was the thing. I brought the word coding into it, and the genie came out of the bottle. So now this is what it should look like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the blue customize button so I can actually go into the theme. This is where we would do all of the customization. This is where we have all of our sections, and I've got an entirely blank theme at the moment. Just to go over, if you weren't with us the last time, every single part of the website you see is called a section. So this would be a list of all of your collections, your groups of products. This would be a collection, an individual collection featuring individual products. There's lots of things we can kind of fill out there. Now, if we go to, let's go into the slideshow, which is this section here, the main section. And you want to get a nice image appearing there across the front, but you don't have anything at the moment. You can just click on, you can go into the individual slide, you select image, and just below that there'll be a link there that says explore free images. Now, you'll get there one way of two ways. I'm going to click on select image, and right here at the top left hand corner, I've got some images in there already that I've been using. If I click on free images, all of those images there that were on the Burst website are available through your Shopify admin as well. So it's really good to have that option. Let's say, for example, I'm going to go with shop local. Seems very timely. So I would say, let's go with this one. As things are beginning to open up and hopefully continue to do so more, I'm going to go with a door with the word open on it. Select it, and what that will do is that will just load it up for me right there on the site. And I think I've done it into this because there's two slides here. So one second. Let me try that again. Select. And there we go. That's what I was looking for to happen. Oh, the tension. So so we have in two places. So it's through the Burst website itself, or right there within the Shopify admin, we have access to photographs, a huge wide variety of photographs, all royalty free. And you do not, in the case of burst.shopify.com, you do not need to sign up in order to access them. So we are going to go back to Michelle, and you're going to talk about Kit.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. There we go.
If anyone has any questions, do pop them in the Q&A box, because we're happy to help you throughout the presentation if you've got questions, or we'll be here at the end as well. So do stop us and ask us if you've got anything on your mind. So I'm just going to share now as well. So Facebook ads and Instagram ads are, that's sharing okay, Brian, yeah?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so Facebook and Instagram ads and organic posts on those platforms are a minefield, right? There's a lot to learn. Just when you think you've got the hang of it, it changes. It's a, you know, we know that there's a lot to take in there. So we have Kit, which is an app for Shopify stores from the Shopify ecosystem. This is the only tool we're talking about today that only applies to Shopify stores. It is completely free in that the only spend is the money that you spend on the Facebook ad itself or the Instagram ad itself. Like I said, it comes from the Shopify App Store, which means it's only connected to Shopify stores. And it takes care of email marketing, Facebook posts and ads, Instagram posts and ads. And you can also create discounts to send out to your customers through it as well. So when you're trying to figure out Facebook ads, I would say the best way to do it is to spend the time, really learn it and do them from scratch. But it's like anything. It would be great if it was completely made from scratch and perfect. There isn't always time. So in the same way as the logo maker on Hatchful is, when you don't have budget, time, skills, here's a quick solution. When you don't have budget, time, skills to go and become a Facebook ads expert or an email marketing expert Or maybe you have learned about those things and just never have the consistency to post every day or to keep up your Facebook ads campaigns. So Kit simplifies it all and automates it all and texts you, literally sends you a text message on your mobile phone with suggestions. So in the email marketing, there are templates. So anybody who's done any email marketing with, whether it's Shopify email, whether it's MailChimp, no matter what you're using, there's usually a template like that, and you drag and drop in your own text and images and so on. But Kit's even smarter than that. So Kit pulls the information out of your Shopify store and says, you know, we've had more than 670 visitors to our store in the last 30 days. Let's start a retargeting campaign to remind those visitors about our products and bring them back. So some people are installing like a Facebook pixel so that website visitors can be captured and you can advertise to them later. But then it's so overwhelming to think about how to sit down and create that ad that they never use it. Whereas Kate is saying, look, this is how many people came onto your shop, because it's pulling that straight out of your Shopify analytics. And it's taken a 30-day as a good snapshot of what's happening. In order to reach our visitor audience, I recommend a budget of $25 for a 14-day retargeting campaign. Can I show you a preview of this campaign? There's going to be yes or no buttons at the bottom of your phone. So it texts you this kind of stuff, and it gets you thinking about, really, 670 people this month. Okay, yeah, let's, and I can put an ad in front of them now. I know it's in dollars there, but I can put an ad in front of them and advertise for 14 days. If that sounds good, then you say yes. If it's not appropriate right now and you think, no, I have other plans, or I don't have the 25 bucks or whatever it is, you can just say no. So it's pulling that information straight out of your store, the same as somebody who's maybe hired to do this stuff would go in and ask you loads of questions about, right, well, how many visitors are you getting? And how much money have you got to spend on the ad? But because this is all automated, it's like having your own little virtual employee doing it in the background. It'll show you a preview. If you said, yes, go ahead and show me the preview. So it will have pulled product images. It'll put little captions with them. And then it'll ask, can I publish it? So in that screenshot there, the store owner had said $45 because it had said, you know, what's the budget here? So you can increase the budget, decrease the budget. You can change up what those captions are. It'll have suggested ones, but you can say, oh, actually I have a better image of that. Or, you know, there could be something more catchy that you could put in the copy. You're in control of it all the time. So it's automated, but not to the point where it's leaving you out. It's asking you all the time with suggestions, and you're replying yes or no. And then when you're happy with it, it sends it out. It'll send you a test first. If it was an email campaign, it'd send a test to your email address. And then it'll ask you, can it push it out to all the customer emails? So it's an unbelievable tool to have for people who just don't have the time, expertise, consistency to put together detailed Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns or email marketing campaigns from scratch. So marketing is one of those things that a lot of business owners know that they should be doing on a consistent basis, know that they need to keep out there on the social media platforms all the time, and just let it fall by the wayside because you get busy. So this is a great one because it's reminding you all the time. If Kate was texting you too often, you can always change that up as well of what it actually sends to you. But it is, when we used to be on the go all the time, it's so handy that it texts it to you, because no matter where you are, you have your phone with you. Now you're probably working from home and around a lot more. But even just to get that little nudge into, we need to be doing something here. We need to be reminding these visitors about our products. You know, we haven't sent an email this month. It's time to update a newsletter, whatever that is. It's just a fantastic tool. And like I say, the tool itself is free. So the app doesn't cost anything to put on your store. It's just whatever you agree to spend on the Facebook ad itself. So that is Kit, only for Shopify stores. And we're either giving them all the information, Brian, or they're very shy today, but there's no questions. So this is the bit they've all been waiting for. Brian's going to talk to Canva.
Now I am going to just make sure we have the right screen here. So I guess by way of introduction to Canva, which is an image creation and editing tool wonderful tool. Not a Shopify tool, but I am a big fan of it. I know Michelle uses it as well. By way of introduction, I'm just going to show you what the image editing capabilities are within Shopify itself. So say, for example, this is my Shopify account right here. If I wanted to edit images within Shopify, let's say, for example, I go to my products. I have 3 products listed there. I'm going to go into the animal sun hat, and I'm in the back end here, so this is where I have all my product information. So the ability here for me to edit images, I'd actually you'd have all of your image, your variant images and your main product image here. Double click on it and it'll bring up this. Now, pretty straightforward. Top right hand corner, you got the ability to delete it or download it onto your computer. Bottom left hand corner, some very straightforward things. We've got crop and rotate. We've got drawing, should you need to draw on the image for whatever reason. You can also have the ability to resize. Now, I think the handiest thing here would be crop and rotate. So if I click on that, over on the right-hand side, I have the ability to change the dimensions. Square, very common recommendation we would make is that for your product images, that square images are the best image because they look fantastic on desktop and mobile. But you also have the ability to kind of draw the exact dimensions of the image and exactly how you want to crop it. So that's what you can do within Shopify. I guess on the other end of the scale, you've got something like Photoshop, where, something that's used by graphic design professionals to create incredibly detailed graphics and images. And you might not necessarily have I don't know how long it would take, like 6 months, a year and a half to master Photoshop. I don't know, maybe someone can answer that for me. I know it's 30 minutes in and I gave up. So what I would be looking for is something in between. I'd be looking for something that very easily allows me to create graphics, create images, save them to my computer, upload them onto my web page with a minimum amount of fuss. And that is exactly what Canva does. So I'm going to introduce you now to Canva. This is the interface when you log in, actually laid out fairly similar to Shopify. In fact, you've got your main menu down the left-hand side. I'm just going to make sure I'm on the home page here. I'm in posters for some reason. Okay, so while that's loading up, just to kind of point out what's in that menu. You do have the ability, by the way, to create folders. So say, for example, you have different websites, you have different projects, or indeed you have, in this case, I have a folder for Shopify banner images, which would appear at the top of my page. I have a folder for product page images. So you can actually separate them out and make them very easy to find. One moment here.
I think you need to use the scroll bar on the right. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Thank you very much, Michelle. Good guruing. And by the way, one thing you'll notice bottom left-hand corner as well, you have try Canva Pro. So there's a lot more features. Again, I'm not here in any sort of sales capacity for Canva, but there are more features available for that. To be fair though, any use I've ever had for Canva, if that's creating gig posters or if it's creating Instagram posts or whatever it might be, it can all be done for free. So there's absolutely no, unless you have a dire need to sign up to the Pro plan, this should meet all of your needs without doing so. So what you'll see on the homepage is all of the different types of image and design that you actually can generate via their templates. You've got posters, you've got Instagram posts, logos. Over on the left-hand side, you'll also notice there's photos. So much like Burst earlier on, Canva also has its own image library. Some of them you need to pay for, some of them are free, but you can see there's a good number of them. I'm going to click back to home because I want to go back to I'm going to show you two things. One, I'm going to show you what the templates look like, and then I'm going to show you how we can actually create an image to the specific dimensions we want. So if we click on Instagram post, it will bring up here we are. I say it will bring up. I want to see it first before I confirm that. Yes, there we go. It will bring up an image you know, a file, a blank file, the dimensions exactly what they need to be for an Instagram post. Over on the left-hand side, you can see all of these templates that you can use, or you can build it up yourself if you want. So over on the left-hand side here, we have, you know, photos that we can choose to put in, different elements. So for example, we'll let these load up and see a few. Shapes, grids, frames for the photos. I mean, there's a lot of things we can go into there. There's hand-drawn animals, organic sketched fruit. Really, there's so much imagery that you can actually pull in and start to build up exactly what you want. What I've done earlier on is I uploaded, you do have the ability to upload images that you already have. So I have the hat here, the sun hat, and I am going to kind of just expand that. Just gonna put it like that. I'm just gonna make it fit the square. Nice high resolution image that I have. What I could do then is I could go into the text. It's basically just drag and drop. It's really, really intuitive, and you know, you can play around with it and start building things up at your own speed. So if I drag in the heading here, and every single feature of the image that you create is editable. So say, for example, I can click on the background image there and select that. I can apply some filters. So up at the top, you've got effects and filters. You can crop the image. I'm going to go with Afterglow. There we are, a little bit sharp, but it'll do for now. If I want to go back and edit the text, I just double click on that and I have the ability to change the color of the text, the fonts that I'm using. Let me see, what would be a nice font? I like Collective. How about that? There we are. And something like that. Let's say black might not necessarily be the best color against that background, so I might go for white. Again, I am not a design. I'm sure there will be people watching this who will be screaming at their screens right now with some of my design choices. But it's just, it's that idea that it's very, very straightforward and simple just to kind of put an image together. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to add an element here. This is a sun hat, and it's apparently coming up to summer. So let me see. You know what? I'll take that little graphic there. That looks nice. So again, we can just drag that across, and I can, you know, just pull that exactly where I want it to be. I'm probably not going to win any design awards for that, but you'll just see that every single element on that is editable. I can go in and change it around. Also, that will be saved. So I can create, if I want to actually create the image, top right-hand corner here, you'll see the download button, and click on that. A few other options here about how you could share it. I'm going to click on download. And then you've got various file types, PNG, so that's your high quality image, JPEG, you can save it as a PDF, you can do whatever you want. I'm gonna go with PNG for now, click on download, and that is going to create an image of the design I have very quickly thrown together there. Now, there was a question in terms of how do we know the best dimensions and the best sizes for the images that we would use if we were going to, you know, use a Shopify theme? So in the Shopify Help Center, there is a page for each of our free themes. And if you have a paid theme, which would be from a third party, very often they will have their own guidelines and recommendations about image sizes on their own help pages. But I'm using the Brooklyn theme on my store. So this is tips for Brooklyn. So I'm going to scroll down and I will see that the slideshow image is the one that I used earlier on. That was the one that eventually loaded up for me. And I see here there's a recommendation. It says the best size for slideshow images, and it's 1200 pixels by 800 pixels. Okay, it's a good idea to keep all of your image slides the same size as each other. I can definitely attest to that. So we know now that in order to get the best possible image for the Brooklyn slideshow, that it's, you know, that 1200 by 800 is what we recommend. So we can go into Canva, and yeah, I'll go there and click on File, top left-hand corner, and we can create our own design. So when we click on Create Design, it'll give us all of these options so many options that we can do. If it's a postcard, if it's a document, a poster, a Facebook video, there's so much that's provided by Canva. But I'm actually going to go with custom dimensions at the very, very top. And I'm going to say that it's going to be 1200 by 800 pixels, which is the exact dimensions we want. I'm going to click on Create New Design, and it'll open up a new page for us. I'm going to close a couple of these windows here in case they're slowing things down for me. And there we go. We have 1200 by 800, a blank template there. So I'm going to go with an image that I uploaded earlier on. In fact, this is one that I got from Burst. Again, just a case of dragging and dropping that across. And if I remember correctly, I think this image was pretty much dead on. But say, for example, if your dimensions, I would never, for example, stretch an image artificially or make the image wider but maintain the same height, just because it will always just look shoddy. So what we would always do is make, you know, kind of judicious use of cropping and dragging, just so we can get exactly what we're looking for. Now, in terms of the image we have in front of us, it looks nice. I'm going to add an effect to that. Duotone is what I've been enjoying here, because it seems to make everything look like an album cover from the 90s. So I'm going to throw that in. So again, really, really nice filters and effects that we can add. So that looks good. I'll keep that for now. I'm going to keep this minimal because I've one eye on the clock here, so I don't want to take too much time. But I am going to drag a heading across. I'm going to say Brian's Arts and Crafts, capital C, and why not? There we go. I'm going to select the text. And I'm going to go with a different font this time. I'll change the color. Again, much like any, if it's Microsoft Word or anything like that, you just have your usual panel of kind of text editors there. So I am going to make that bold as well. And I'll keep that in the center. Again, you might be screaming at me right now for my design choices, but we'll keep it simple for now. So we've created an image that's the exact dimensions that we need for our image that we want to upload to Shopify. Top right-hand corner, I'm going to click on Publish, do the exact same thing again, click on Download. It's going to be a PNG file, and it is going to download it right to my computer. And that's it. Now, next thing we could do then with that is we can go into our, one moment here, click on Done. Got to go back into the Shopify admin. I'm going to click on Online Store because I want to actually upload this picture so it's visible on my site. No code this time, which is a blessed relief. I'm going to click on the Customize button for Brooklyn. Got to go back in here and click on the slideshow. And I've got one slide in there at the moment. I could have up to 6 slides, and I could have them rotating every 5 seconds. You can see there, you can auto rotate the slides. You can choose the number of seconds that they will rotate. I just have one in for now because I just want a static image. So I'm going to click on Select Image. I'm going to upload. You can probably see there's a few attempts already, and I am going to click Open. Upload that onto my page. I'm going to select it. Now, looks a bit off just because we have that. So I'm going to select that. Looks a bit busy there. So what I'm going to do is with the slide, each slide you can include text. So you can see there an introductory hero banner. I'm just going to get rid of both of those. There we are. That repetition's a small bit needless. Now, earlier on, Michelle was kind enough to proffer me with a logo from Hatchful. So if I want to put my logo in there and avoid that repetition, I can click on the header, go to logo, and I am going to upload that here. And there we are. So again, this is kind of, very quickly thrown together, but you get the idea that you can create the images in Canva, do so for free, and then have images that are tailor-made for the dimensions that we like here at Shopify. So I think that is it. Let me just check if there was anything else. But yeah, one thing, just to reiterate, by the way, that for whatever Shopify theme you go with, or it doesn't even have to be Shopify, if it's Facebook, if it's Instagram, whatever it is, Canva will have the exact templates for those commonly used platforms. So you won't have to worry about kind of spacing out and the sizing of your images. Canva does a lot of that for you. Okay, and I think that is me finished with Canva, and back to whoever wants to.
Okay, happy enough with Canva from a mobile phone?
I just answered you there. I would prefer to do stuff like this on my computer. I don't know about you, Brian.
Oh no, 100%. It'd just give you that just so much more control and just access to all the tools. So
there is an app for it though, so I wouldn't go on canva.com from my phone. I do have the Canva app, but I don't know. I would only kind of use that in an emergency if I had to get something done really quickly and I couldn't get to my computer.
Okay. Do you spot another one there, Michelle?
Yeah. So is there any estimation on when Shopify will have 90 days of free trial? We don't have an end date for that. We haven't heard one. I don't imagine it'll just be pulled overnight. I'd imagine there'd be some warning of that coming to an end. So at the moment, if you sign up, you get 90 days. It's a COVID-19 kind of relief that we've offered. And because nobody really knows an end date for when this is going to be affecting our lives so much, obviously in Ireland, we're on a roadmap out of it. Globally, we're on a roadmap out of it. But there's no end date for COVID-19. So as such, there's no end date that we know of for that 90-day free trial. But I mean, if you're putting it off, it's jump in and just take up. It's like 90 days, it's 3 months. So just in case you would miss the boat on it, I'd say jump in.
Okay, and I'm assuming that if someone starts a 90-day trial, that you'll honor it the 90 days. I mean, if suddenly we get a roadmap out of COVID, it suddenly doesn't just become a 60-day trial or.
No, it's 90 days from when they signed up. Yes. So I mean, if and when it stops being something we offer, it would be from that date forward. We might go back to our 2 weeks. No one should have any apprehensions. No, and another thing about the free trial, it's not that you have to wait at 90 days now before you can sell on Shopify. You can sell from day one. Once you pick a plan, you're only being billed for the plan after the 90 days. So you pick what subscription you're going to use after the 90 days. And if you change your mind on that, you can upgrade, downgrade, whatever you want. But there's 90 days where we're not billing you for being on Shopify.
Yep.
That's excellent. I think we've more or less covered it for today. I'd like to thank both Brian and Michelle for coming back to us today. It's been really beneficial to all our audience. I'd like to thank the audience for being with us. I hope you've gleaned a lot from it. If you haven't signed up for a free 90 days, I would. Escape at day 89 or whatever. And I'd really like to thank my colleague Mary Dunn for being here today with us as well, because Mary's been absolutely super on everything supporting the rollout of the DCCI's webinar series. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Cheers. Take care. Thank you.